In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you why it is that I decided to start keeping tarantulas as pets. It might be hard to believe, but when I was a little kid, I used to be so afraid of spiders. I'd run into one in the garden or in the basement, and it would really frighten me. I wasn't afraid of insects and other types of critters, but spiders, they made little Dion real scared. I've always been an individual who spends a lot of time in his head reflecting and thinking about the experiences I'm going through in life. So when it came down to this issue, I really asked myself, why was I afraid of spiders? Spiders could easily be labeled #1 animal-related phobia in the world, with the runner-up most likely being snakes. It's unfortunate, but these animals are often the golden choice for prank videos. Without hesitation, if you'd ask me now, this is straight up animal cruelty, but if you asked me back then, I'd question if this was what had the effect on me. You see, at the young age of 14, I was actually able to conclude that fear was taught, and if that was the case, it should mean that it could be untaught as well. But how was I gonna get there? How was I gonna learn to love spiders? In September of 2009, yeah, I know I'm old, I visited my second reptile show ever, and it was there that I came across a vendor selling tarantulas. Learning that people actually kept these animals as pets, I decided that that would be my golden ticket to overcoming my fear. So, I devised a plan. #1, care. How would I go about caring for this animal? I ordered myself this book, which I still have to this very day. Reading this book, as well as signing up to Arachnoboard's forum, taught me how to keep these animals. 2. Were tarantulas dangerous? I honestly had no idea, and this is one of the things that probably worried me the most. 3. How big or size? How big do these spiders actually get? Was that something that's dependent on the species? 4. What kind of money are we talking about spending here? Because you have to remember, I'm a broke teenager. 5. Where was I going to buy this spider from?
Hi, I'm Amanda from Tarantula, Canada, and selling my bugs at the Toronto Reptile Expo today.
Awesome.
We brought about 200 different species of invertebrates, mostly tarantulas, but we also have scorpions, amblypesians, isopods, a few megalomorphs.
Beautiful.
Lots of stuff for sale.
Very cool, very
Looking
cool.
for new homes.
Very nice. Yeah. Incredible animals, captive bred, beautiful.
You can actually go.
6. Me. Was I in fact now ready, having completed my research? Would I be able to properly care for this animal? Had I overcome my fear? I needed to be 100% sure that if I was going to bring one into my home, I would be mentally and emotionally prepared to care for it properly, because at the end of the day, this was a little living being that was in my care, and it would be my responsibility to meet its needs to live a happy and healthy life. But despite everything, there was still one main factor, and this was the one I worried about the most. Parents. I was dead set on owning this spider, but I knew that there was no way in God's name my parents were gonna let me bring home a tarantula, so I did the unthinkable. I snuck one in, and to this day I regret doing it. It wasn't the right thing to do. So after devising my plan, I ended up going back to another reptile show, and it was there that I met up with Martin and Amanda of Tarantula Canada again. And the very first tarantula that I ever owned, my first purchase, was a tiny little Grammostola rosea red colorform sling that was like ½ an inch in size. And that was the little tiny spider that fueled my love and passion. It developed over time, but I think that starting with a tiny sling was something that really helped me develop confidence in the animal. The funny part is, as I researched their care and realized how long they take to grow, I almost became impatient and decided to buy a second tarantula. And while most of you by now know how that goes, it kind of just snowballs until you have a little bit of a larger collection, right? And so essentially through those baby steps and planning, I was able to overcome that fear. Now, I do want to say one thing. If you experience arachnophobia, that's totally fine, and no one needs to explain themselves as to why they feel that. A phobia doesn't need to be rationalized. It's your experience, and you should be able to deal with it how you see fit. I just want to be able to share my experiences with spiders, and I never had an arachnophobia, but I did have a fear of the animals, and so sharing this experience of how I overcame that fear, I hope may be helpful to some of you in your experience should you be on your own personal journey to overcome that fear as well. That's all I'm trying to say with that. So yeah, that's my story. Now, I do have some special guests that I was very fortunate enough to convince after some begging and pleading, who are going to chime in on this story. So I hope you enjoy a few last remarks about how it is that I got into keeping tarantulas. Not the best lighting, but here we go. It's gonna be a little bit of a roast.
What can we say about Diane?
Okay, hold on. First, I just want you to share with everyone a little bit about, you know, the experience we had with me growing up, and, you know, like this book was something that you discovered. Anything you want to share about that? Does this book remind you of anything?
Yes. Well, as a young age, we learned that Diane and his backpack, we had to inspect his backpack always, wherever he goes. Anytime he came in, his backpack had to be inspected because you have no idea what you would find in his backpack. So, what can I say? Share the story of the book.
Well, the story of the book is, I think it was an afternoon on a weekend, and I felt like having a little nap, so I went to Diane's room. I don't know where he was. He was, I guess, out or so, and I thought, well, I'll use his bed. It's quiet, so I went and had a nap, and then I looked at his bedside table, and I noticed this book, and I'm like, now why would he have a book on tarantulas?
Why? Why would I? Why would I leave a book like that out?
And so then I knew, okay.
Let's look at this.
Something is up.
I don't know, I don't really like spiders, especially not that big. So I wasn't gonna go check your room to see what's hidden. So, but yeah, that's how we found out that you had gone to a reptile show somewhere in Toronto and somehow smuggled, I think, more than one or two spiders into our house.
Now listen, nobody, I'm just gonna say straight up, nobody should be doing this. I'm not telling everyone to go and do what I did. That was a huge mistake. Being honest with your family is the most important thing. Wanting to bring a pet or multiple pets into your home. But yeah, that was the hardship and experience I put my parents through. But I'm curious, not to put you on the spot, what in the end made you not decide to throw me to the curb or throw them to the curb? Because in the end you actually let me keep them.
Well, I guess in a way it runs in the family, because I remember as a kid
that side of the family,
I would come home with tadpoles. So when I was growing up, I liked reptiles too. So I remember even going to a store and they had this display with a little, I don't know what it was, looked like a little alligator, and I really I wanted to save up money to get that alligator.
I've never even
but
heard
there
this
was
story.
no way your grandparents would let me get that. Oh yeah, I remember that. There was like a nursery or so, and they had also some animals.
Huh.
Yeah, I grew up in the countryside in Switzerland, and so we had streams nearby, and I would go and get tadpoles in the water and raise them. And yeah, so I guess you went a little further.
By bringing tarantulas
Yes.
into the house? Yeah. Again, I'm not saying that that was the way to do things, and I'm not saying that if you just go behind your parents' back, they'll let you keep your tarantulas and they'll not throw you to the curb for lying to them. But that was just my story. I'm sharing my story and what happened. Thank
And
you.
I think Diane has this innate knowledge and interest since I guess he was a little toddler. My aunts were visiting from Europe when Diane was,
I'm scared now.
I think, just about 2 years old, and they were so excited they wanted to get something special for Diane, so they thought a tricycle, and so we went to Toys R Us and all excited, got the tricycle, and Diane was not interested in the tricycle. He was more interested in ants and worms and puddles, and so I think it's born in you that you just have that interest and somehow really know how to explore and look after these animals. And yeah, and it's you, so
Thank you.
yes.
Thank you very much. There you have it. That's kind of how it went. Any comments, buddy? Anything you want to share with us? Do you have anything you want to add? Oh,
I don't know what
anything you want to add to this
long.
important story?
I wanted to,
Oh.
I remember.
Oh, shoo, shoo.
I so bad.
Well, friends, there you have it. As you can see, I was quite the character as a young youth or child, very mischievous. Again, I want to emphasize that I certainly would not encourage anyone to go behind their family's back to acquire a new pet, especially thinking, oh, well, if they're not going to let me, I might as well just do it. That's really wrong. I'm just being open and honest about my experience, and I am very thankful that my parents recognized my passion and didn't see it as a harmful thing and wanted to encourage me to explore it further. But with that being said, exercising responsibility and being fair to those loved ones that share home with you is really important. So if you're in a position where your friends and family don't feel comfortable with you owning a tarantula in your home, the responsible thing to do is wait till you live on your own or have your own place to do that. I guess I just got lucky and cheated the system. In any case, I sincerely hope you guys enjoyed watching today's video. Let me know what you thought about my cheesy little life story there in the comment section down below. And for today's question of the day, I'd like to take the time to ask you all, how did you get into keeping tarantulas? Was it just a kind of spur of the moment thing where you're like, you know, these animals seem cool, I'd like to keep one? Do you have a similar story to mine where it was about overcoming a certain fear or phobia? Let me know in the comment section down below, and as always, I'll give your comment a heart and we can engage in a little bit of a conversation. Alright guys, hope you have a wonderful week. See you all on Friday. And I do apologize for this week's video coming out a little later than usual. I've been kind of catching up with my upload schedule. Thanks so much for watching. Take care everybody. If you want to see more videos pertaining to my arachnids, check out this playlist up above. And don't forget to subscribe and ding the notification bell so you don't miss any future videos.